So good morning. My name is Tracy Queen. I am here this morning as part of the workshop on tips for women in leadership, and it's a pleasure to be with you. So just first want to start talk about the agenda. John invited me to be a part of this series. I've known John for a few years and just wanted to participate, share some of my knowledge. And before I share my knowledge, I just want to talk about some of the things most recently that have been a part of influencing what I have seen in the past, what I've seen transitioning with women in leadership, and share that so that we can see where women in leadership has been, where it's at, and where it's going, and how we can be a part of that. I'd like to start with something that's very recent that you may or may not have seen. Have you seen the Barbie movie? Has anybody seen it? Yep. It's very hot right now, the Barbie movie. So if you've seen it, I've seen it. And some of it's very controversial. She plays stereotypical Barbie. This is Margot Robbie. And I'm not going to get too intent on some of the controversial things about the movie. We're just going to focus on what some of the things that she was intended to represent. Stereotypical Barbie. In this movie, there's a line that she says, and she says, "I'm not smart enough to be interesting. I can't do brain surgery. I've never flown a plane. I'm not president. I'm not on the Supreme Court. I'm not good enough for anything." So she makes this statement about, because she's just stereotypical, she's nobody important. And so Gloria, who's played by America Ferrera, she's a real woman in the world whose fantasy has brought Barbie to life into the real world. She's gone into Barbie land to help Barbie, and she's comforting Barbie, and she goes into this, it's a monologue, you might want to call it a rant, but she goes in this monologue, and she starts to talk to Barbie about expectations of what it's like to be a woman. And you can, if you've not watched the movie, you can find the monologue, you can go to YouTube, you can Google it, it'll pop it up. But it starts with the words of, "It's literally impossible to be a woman. You're so beautiful, you're so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like we have to always be extraordinary, but somehow you're always doing it wrong. You have to you have to be thin, but not too thin. You can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but you always have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to be a loving mother, but you can't talk about your kids all the time." You can just see where this is going, right? I mean, and she goes on, and it's powerful. It goes all the way to the bottom, and all these things about the things that you can't do, because no matter what you do, you're not going to be right one way or the other, because it's always going to be your fault. And she ends with, "I'm just so tired of watching myself and every other single woman tie herself up into knots are people like this. And if all of that is also true for a doll, for Barbie, if this is how she feels and she's just representing women, right, then I don't even know." And this is a woman talking to a doll. So that was powerful for me, sitting in a theater listening to this woman tell a doll. Well, if a doll doesn't get it, and she's just stereotypical Barbie, and she's just saying, because I'm not a president, I'm not a brain surgeon, I'm not on the Supreme Court, I can't fly a plane, I can't do these things, I'm not good for anything. Yes, you are. We, as women, have been in this world of feeling as though we're not quite right, and there's a reason for that. Over this article, I did a LinkedIn post, and there was a lot of controversy over my post before it went live. There's a lot of strong feelings about what to share, what not to share, what to say, what not to say, because you can ruffle a lot of feathers. long story short, you can go on LinkedIn. The post it's very short and sweet, just simple. It's more focused on just getting on the bandwagon with Barbie, and stayed out of the political arena. Again, you're not going to get it right, is what we landed on, which is also another reason to talk about this. As a woman, we were afraid we weren't going to get it right. We weren't going to get it right. So this is what I landed on, thinking about all of that for today. And excuse the language, but what is it like to be a woman? Well, it's just a lot of damn work. It's a lot of damn work. You just, again, you never get it quite right. You can't be this, you can't be that, because you try to do that, you're not going to get it right. And it just goes on this never-ending circle. There's statistically 1.5 times more often women are more likely to receive feedback that is negative and subjective rather than constructive and objective. That's incredible, and it's wrong. But it happens. A recent study of the 33 biggest multilateral institutions found that 382 leaders in their history, only 47 have been women. Also, the percentage of women running Fortune 500 companies only recently has crested 10%, and that's sad. So researchers said, why is that? Why is it that companies have failed to elevate women, to promote women into these leadership roles? Well, at first they thought that they assumed what that was, that there was this assumption that they assumed there were this reason of why that companies were not elevating women. What they found was that there was this discrimination that truly was called, "We want what you aren't." And it's real. In their studies, they found that in every situation, that regardless of what was going on, let's say a woman, her age is 40, she could be in the same position as a man, and she may either be too young or too old, and he would be the right age. She might, let's say, he or she may both have breast cancer, and the question may be asked of her, is she going to continue to work, but he would never be asked the same question. What's the difference? There is no difference. There was time and time again in their study, and they did their study of the 4 highest female-dominated industries in the U.S., and those industries are higher education, faith-based nonprofits, law, and healthcare, and those are where they focused. And there were numerous instances where questions and things occurred with women that did not occur with men. And it was always, "We want what you aren't." So they landed on, it was always characteristics of what? So let's look at those. And it's going to shock you. It looks as though it's immediate discrimination. So we'll talk about them. This is some of the ones that they identified through their study. Accent, age, body size, religion, attractiveness. She could be too pretty. She's not pretty enough. Ethnicity, parental status. She hasn't had kids. She's going to have kids, so she will be taking work. She'll be taking off from work. She may not come back from work. She won't work as hard. Just this cycle of things that they would not consider with a man. Personality traits, physical ability. One study resulted with, there was a woman who walked with a cane, and they asked her multiple times to hide her cane in photos so that it would not show that she was weak, even though she was the leader of the department. That the cane would show weakness. These are some examples. So, in society, whether we are a male or a female, we all automatically do some assumptions. It's natural. We do it. I do it. Vanessa did it. John does it. Everybody does it. Thing is we just do. It's human nature. What's important is that we know it and we recognize it, and that if we see that we are seeing these biases, that we do not allow them to affect what goes past these biases, that they do not affect what we do after what we make the assumption of. So, John knows me. A couple of you know me. Vanessa, you do not. Those on Zoom do not. When you first seen me on Zoom, Vanessa, when you first met me, you made some assumptions, okay? And that is totally okay. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm going to ask you, who am I? What are some things that you assumed about me? And I want you on Zoom to please give us some feedback, okay? Make some assumptions about me. I have an accent. I know I do. Tell me, where do you think I was born and raised? Look at me. I'm blonde, blue-eyed. How old do you think I am? Am I married? Am I unmarried? Do I have children? Am I going to have children? We can go back to the list, some of these ideas. What do you think I do for a living? What were some assumptions? Give me some ideas.
You were born in the South.
I was born in the South, yes. Now, why do you think I was born in the South?
Because of your accent.
My accent. That is correct, yes. So I'm born in the South, specifically right here in Blount County. Anything else?
You probably used to wear your hair really big way back when.
I did. We'll say we teased it to Jesus. I was in that generation, so how old do you assume I am?
I don't want to.
Now, come on. I want you got to work with me. It's part of the exercise.
I mean,
Come on. I know I'm a woman, but I'm asking. Come on, John. How old do you think I am?
I'm going to say I might get in trouble with
Nope. I need.
I'm going to say mid-40s.
Oh, I like John. He said mid-40s. Okay. Anybody else?
your husband makes good money.
Okay, so she's saying I'm married, and he makes good money.
Can I tell you why I think that?
Why?
You have everything.
Okay, all right. And he makes good money. I like the way you think. All right. Okay, anything else? Any other assumptions?
It's controversy because I thought you were shy.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Ah.
you're very soft-spoken.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm like, when you're for the leadership, so I assume you're also not shy.
Okay. All right. What else? Anybody on Zoom? What do you think? I'm sorry? I can't hear you. I'm
There's no
sorry.
chat on
No
Zoom.
chat.
No chat? Okay. Anything?
Physical ability, you go for a run, you're skinny.
Ah, okay. So you think I work out? Okay. This is good. Okay. Anything else? You ready? I'm going to reveal some secrets to you. Okay. This is why, one, we all do it, okay? And we need to be conscious of it. One, it's not discrimination, okay? We do it. It's important to recognize that we do it, and that then we don't take anything past it, other than it doesn't influence what our behavior is, how we treat someone. whether or not they get that job, whether or not it affects how we treat them. So I am a mother of two. 25 and 22 are their ages. First one biological, the second one by adoption. I own two cats. They're orange tabbies, Cheeto and Cheddar. I'm a general contractor. That's what I do as a hobby. I can build anything up to $750,000, both residential and small commercial, as a hobby. I'm 53 years old, actually in a couple of weeks. So we technically went with the hand grenade horseshoe thing. That says CEO, that's incorrect. I'm a CFO, Chief Financial Officer and General Manager of a manufacturing plant. That's what I do for a living during the day. I'm a philanthropist, I'm divorced, and I have an accent. That's just a few things about me. Thank you for saying that I was married, because I have a ring, and that he makes good money. I like that one. And then I'm shy, because I'm soft-spoken. I'm actually not shy. I'm just very soft-spoken. I'm a very high extrovert. And why I'm a CFO and a general manager, I love to dig in the numbers. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. I do not work out. I just have good genetics. That's the truth. High metabolism. I'm a general manager, so I manage a manufacturing plant, and I get nothing less than about 12,000 steps a day. It's just constant movement. And again, good genetics from my parents. And I love that John said I was in my mid-40s. So again, good genetics. So,
Men will always
men will always go slow, right? And that I'm from the South. Accent. So I want to talk about accent specifically for a minute, in that accent is one of those things that can go for us a negative and a positive. With my accent in my first career in the banking industry, I was encouraged to focus on it and not let it be heard through the telephone, so that a client would not automatically assume, that I was unintelligent. That a Southern accent sometimes is associated with that. Didn't think anything of it at that point. Today, that bothers me. I travel internationally for our company. I've been in many countries in Europe. I do a lot of our selling in Europe. I do not speak a foreign language. The only language I speak is English. English is the business language, and being from the South works because I speak very slowly. I speak very soft. I speak like I'm singing, and they like that. So I can communicate with them very easily, and it goes so well because I'm not talking so fast that they can understand me and they can stay in the conversation, and it goes very well. So as you can see, where even in my own country, I was told that my accent could stereotypical put me in a category of being unintelligent, but in a foreign country, my accent works very well for me in communicating. Interesting? So it can work for me both ways. That's what this is trying to show us, is that the study revealed that on the front is that characteristic can be used against a woman and for a woman. So they work toward starting to reveal and express to companies and to work with women leaders and other women to say that we want what you are. It's not we don't want what you aren't. We want what you are. Because what you are is exactly what we want. We have so many great traits. because we can see that in that example, just with the accent, that it works. It's very positive. It's extremely powerful. This research has shown that if companies will focus on elevating women, that they will have more retention, they will have stronger employee involvement, that women have a tendency to be much more involved with their employees. So it will benefit both the individual and the company. So they strongly encourage to promote women into leadership roles. So, and to do that, for us to say to women, we want what you are, they're saying there's a way to do that. Here's how we can do that in the workplace, is ask some questions. One is to do the flip it test. And it's real easy. It's to say to leaders in a company, when they're thinking about promoting a woman or a man, is ask the same question. If you would ask that question of a woman, ask it of a man. If you'd ask that question of a man, ask it of a woman. There's no difference. A couple of examples. If you would say she needs to smile more, would you say he needs to smile more? If you would say men are going to have kids and not want to come back to work, women are going to have kids and not want to come back to work. It's an example. Since Larry has prostate cancer, he can no longer fulfill his job duties. Since I have breast cancer, I can no longer fulfill my job duties. What's the difference? It's the flip it test. If you would say it about a woman, would you say that about a man? That's what they call the flip it test. Then, constructive career enhancing feedback. As I said, women are more likely, and it's 1.5 times, to receive negative and subjective feedback than constructive and objective. So what we need as women is we need constructive and objective feedback. So we as women need to be giving other women constructive and objective feedback. We need to be a part of that. Also, as women, we're guilty of taking it personally. Okay? We have to not take it personally. It's not personal. Okay? I'm very guilty of that myself. Okay? So I can tell you, in my personality traits, I'm a feeler. It'll make a great manager, makes a good manager, but also makes you internalize, and I think that it's my fault. It's me. It's not. So as women, we have to encourage other women not to internalize that feedback, okay? It's not them as the individual to fix. It's as a whole, okay? So that's some additional steps and ways to help women advance in the workplace.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you
about
may.
previous one?
Yep.
So how can someone practice or work toward not taking something personal? Do you have any ideas on how to do that?
So if you're criticized, you need to consider how it was given. Were they being objective and constructive, or what were their criticisms based on? You know, how was it delivered? And I would ask for clarification if it was unclear, because if it was more in a form of more negative or subjective, that doesn't give you clarity. And clarity is what's going to create confidence, irregardless if you're a male or female. So it should be very clear. Does that help? Okay. All right. My contact information, I am by no means the expert on this. This is the first time I've done this. I am very happy to share my experience and just some from my career in being in leadership, in manufacturing, and in an industry that I love, that's very male dominated. And I have to say that they're very welcoming. They're encouraging women to be in the industry. So it's changing, and we're going to be a part of that future. Any questions?
So you just referenced to being in an industry that's male dominated. I think about what you said in relation to women supporting women. Talking about that feedback. I feel like it may have been something that you experienced, that there's sort of this competition piece, almost like a pick-me of like I'm the one unique woman in this land. I've got to get to the top, and so there's this competition between women versus us
Right.
trying to work together and build each other up, because that's the only way we're going to keep going up the ladder and increase that 10%.
Yeah, we have to work together. It's not I get to the top and I'm the only one up here. That's not it at all. We as women have to work together to help support each other, share the tips and things. I just recently returned from a trip to Europe, and for half of the meetings, I was the only woman in the room. I don't want to be the only woman in the room. I'm sorry?
Or like maybe in the beginning,
Mhm.
like where were you intimidated, and how to like you surpass that?
The question was I intimidated? Yes, I will say internally. At first, I thought, "What am I doing in this room?" This young lady from Blount County, Tennessee, who was born and raised what I call economically underprivileged. How did I get here? Yes, at first. However, I've worked years. I have an education. I put myself through school. I worked to be where I'm at. I earned my seat at the table. And I want other women to be there, and they can be there. When I started in manufacturing, I knew nothing about manufacturing. I knew how to make the numbers do what they needed to do. I knew how to manage, but I did not know manufacturing. I did not know DC motors. I did not know what a commutator was. But you can teach smart people anything. And I do now. I know what a commutator is. I know what a DC motor is. I know how they operate. And I love what we do. It's great. And they want more women. They know that they're missing 50% of the population of the work staff. And so they want more women in that industry. So they're open.
What helped you like be in that situation though, and like say like don't be intimidated? Was it like just internalizing I deserve to be here?
Yes,
Really?
you have to
Okay.
own who you are. We're smart. As women, we are very prone to feel the imposter syndrome, that we don't have the right to be where we are. We didn't earn it. The fact is we do earn it. And we need to give ourselves credit for the things that we have done. Will we always do it all perfect? No. No one does. Nor are we expected to. What we do is give it all that we've got, typically in almost everything that we try to do. So we need to own that. We should own that. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And so what I just decided to do was go in that room and owning what I have, and that's I'm as smart as they are. I put my pants on the same way, one leg at a time. Everybody does, right?
I like that you mentioned the imposter syndrome, because I feel like that does happen a lot.
It
Women
does.
do feel that a lot, no matter where they are.
Yes, ma'am. And you will still feel that, women and men. I don't want to just talk to the women. You will feel that. I am 53. John thinks I'm in my mid-40s. I still have that feeling that will come to me, that I don't belong where I'm sitting. As we talked about, I'm a general contractor, and there'll be times I'm thinking, Am I really doing this? Can I really do this? Yes, I really can do this. That's natural too as well. Natural is when we talked about, we automatically do some assuming and apply some biases. Again, I would encourage that, accept that, because that's human nature. It's important that we learn to go past those and that we do not allow those to impact how we treat someone and how that impacts how they move forward with us.
Can I ask just one more thing?
Yes,
here?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
For step 2 in constructive criticism, can you give us like an example of how there was a woman in your field and you were able to give her constructive criticism?
Oh,
Or
boy.
feedback?
Oh, okay. Let's see. It's a good one. Okay, let me think about that. No pressure. So we recently hired a new staff member, a young lady, who is a new member of our accounting department. She is assisting with handling some HR responsibilities, human resources, payroll, and accounts receivables. She, in processing in processing payroll, she had received an email that was a scam email. Thought it was from an employee, and it was not. Changed some information. Thankfully, we were able to find this out before any damage was caused. So I had to give her some corrective criticism on how to be more alert and attentive to scamming emails, because these folks are good. They work really hard to take your money. And she's young and very impressionable, and you don't want to deflate their spirit. So, and again, I want to stress, these scammers are really good. They know what they're doing. So I had to encourage her from a standpoint of, you're new, you're learning. He was out of the office. There were a lot of reasons why. We understand why you would have done this. However, would like for you to look at some reasons why we shouldn't have done this, and then walked through those and asked her if she could see them after we pointed them out, and then asked her to give me some feedback from that. Does she see that? And she did, after we pointed that out, and used it as an educational experience. And it was not a pointing a finger. It was an opportunity to help educate and keep her spirit high. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Anything else? Questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For your time.
Thank you. Thank you.